Gut Stuff, we're partnering with BioGaia to bring you Weaning with Guts. And Weaning Week's theme this year is Wean Wise, Gut Thrive. Is your gut thriving? Is it thriving? So, here at the Gut Stuff, we've pretty much got adult gut health on lockdown. But when it comes to kids, I literally didn't have a clue. So we've partnered with BioGaia to follow Bear's weaning journey with Lucy. Hi, who's a children's dietitian, to keep us on the right side of the tracks to follow Bear's journey for Weaning Week. Wish us luck.
So Lucy, one of the many things that keeps me up at night
3 a.m.
that isn't there is allergies.
Yes.
Right. I am immeasurably paranoid. I haven't given him any allergen foods because it sends me spiraling.
Gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what can we, should we be looking for? Is there kids that are more vulnerable?
Yeah.
How do we know? Like, just help.
Yeah. Okay,
Help me.
so parents are always very worried about this, and I think some of it is also because increasingly in the news all we hear is lots of bad headlines about children having reactions and big things like anaphylaxis, which as a starting point to reassure you beyond measure, the chance of a very severe allergic reaction when you're weaning is very minimal.
Okay.
Very minimal. It is not impossible, but it is far, 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 far more likely for it to never happen.
Okay.
So, I know people who sit outside A&E like, I'm just going to, like, with a boiled egg, like, in a car, say, go, doors open, ready. You really don't need to do that. So, there's a few things to always think about. So, lots of families come to me and say, I'm worried because I think my baby is going to be higher risk because I've got a peanut allergy, or, we're just a really hay fevery, eczema-y, and I would call that atopic family. So I think understanding risk factors is always a helpful thing. So there's general population risk, most children, very low risk of allergy. And then there is a marginal increase if you are, from a genetic potential kind of perspective, more likely to develop eczema, asthma, hay fever, or food allergy. That is our household. Yeah. I'm like, how my daughter would escape atopia, I do not know, because we are nose running in summer. The second a tree blossom is out, it's like
sinuses on fire.
Yeah, literally that. So that marginally increases the risk, and that's just that kind of genetic potential. And with many things, there's often that element of probably genetics loads the gun a little bit, and then there's lots of environmental things that could potentially pull a trigger. What we really understand from lots of research now is that children at the highest risk of developing food allergy are children who've got eczema.
Okay.
And or a food allergy already.
Son.
Yes.
Good.
So good. How good. But it's usually children who've got moderate to severe eczema that often comes on in early life, within that first year, often within those first months, and particularly children where it's more widespread and or needs to be managed with something like steroids. So it's important to understand that doesn't mean your child will definitely have food allergies. It just places them in a higher risk category. And it's that group, alongside all children really, where we would go, the way we're going to try and manage this is by not persistently delaying and going, I'll just give it another week, that once you've got going with weaning, you literally, for want of a better pun, crack on and start getting those allergens in. And I always describe that to families of like, what we don't want to do is leave the door open and just be like, are you coming in? We're going to give the foods, we're going to tell the gut, this is something that's safe, you don't need to overreact about this. And then once it's in, you keep it in. So we try to avoid being like, oh, we've given them peanut once, great, it's in, I'm never going to do it again. It's once those sorts of foods are in, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, sesame, etc., wheat, you keep giving it regularly as part of your baby's weaning diet. We use a lot of pragmatism and we use a lot of risk management and say, make sure your baby's well. As best as possible, make sure if your baby has got eczema that their eczema is controlled. That they might not have perfect baby soft smooth skin, right? But that you've just got a good management regime in place, and essentially you're going to start with really small amounts. And this could be, if you're feeling very nervous, tip of a teaspoon amount of that food.
Okay. So like a tiny bit of egg.
Tiny bit of egg, quarter of a teaspoon. So you'd you'd hard boil an egg. So for context, egg becomes, the allergic potential of egg increases the less it's cooked. So, I always say don't give them like a runny scrambled egg to start off with. Give them like a hard-boiled egg. Boil that egg within an inch of its life.
Put it on, forget about it and come back.
And then you're going to blitz it down and mash it down and mix it maybe with something he's had before.
Okay.
You can give it on its own, like mashed down on a teaspoon, but actually if he's thought, sweet potato is the best thing ever, mum, mix it in with something that that he's liked and enjoyed and has had before.
Yeah.
And then that's when every parent sits there like this.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'll be me. Yeah.
Literally
helicopter.
Like, yeah. Understanding allergy reactions is really helpful to know at that point. So to say, if a child's going to react immediately, and that's the type of allergy everybody knows about, like, it's the one where they're like nettle rash, swelling, like boom, boom, boom. And it's happening, reactions like that, we call them immediate IgE mediated reactions, are happening usually within minutes.
Okay.
We'll say up to 2 hours. That's quite rare, really.
Yeah.
Most immediate reactions, you're going to watch it unfold relatively quickly in front of you. Obviously, then everybody goes, oh my God, what do I do? The long and the short of that is, even though some reactions can seem very in your face, nettle rash, anything kind of in front of the teeth, like rashes, getting irritable, they might be scratching a little bit. If there is no sort of compromised breathing in any way, so no sort of swelling of the mouth, of the tongue, no hoarse cry, most babies would be able to be managed with something like an antihistamine.
Okay.
You would need to get that obviously from a GP or something like that. If you are remotely worried, even with those sorts of reactions, you call and speak to a health professional. Yeah. If you are, I really don't know if this is severe or not, then you just call for emergency help and get some advice.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as being...
And I was like, I literally have my phone 111 ready to go.
Yeah, or, and if it was anything more serious, you would need a 999 call.
Yeah.
As caveated right at the beginning, the chance of that happening... For full context, I have worked with children and high-risk children, because I get the high-risk children with food allergies for like nearly 14 years. I haven't had a single episode of anaphylaxis in any of those babies during weaning. Yeah. They've got a very developing, maturing immune system at that stage. Yeah. We don't tend to see it very often, not possible. The other challenge that you've got when you're managing allergies is that not all allergies are immediate.
Okay.
So we have this sort of presentation of delayed type food allergy with really very complex symptoms that can be often confused for something else. Okay. So that would be a baby who, might develop loose stools, they might have excessive mucus in their poo, they might have blood in their poo, they might just have a real exacerbation of something like their reflux or abdominal pain, and that can be very easy to be like, oh, they're just having a bad day, all the lovely things that you do as a parent, you're like, must be the teeth. Yeah. When was the last time they had a poo? So for some food allergens, so particularly things like milk, egg and wheat, less so like your nuts, your tree nuts, your peanuts, you might see this delayed presentation, and that is hard because that can be anywhere from 2 hours later up to 3 days later.
Oh, right, okay, so you don't...
So you're like, oh. Yeah. So some people choose, particularly higher risk babies, so if they had a milk allergy already and or sort of the eczema group, it can feel very medicalised part of weaning. Yeah. And I really want to reassure you that it doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. Have a plan, know what you need to do. And I'd say the key things to focus on that sort of top 9 food allergens. So lots of people ask me or assume that it's like the top 14, which includes things like mustard and lupin. Where can I get lupin? Yeah. Focus on the biggies. Yeah. So milk, fish and shellfish, peanuts, tree nuts, sesame, egg, soy. What one have I forgotten? Yeah. Have I said wheat?
No. Wheat. So wheat's 9. Okay,
wheat's
great.
9.